Hey everyone, this is your friendly neighborhood Christian, Kelly Fry. So tonight we're gonna talk about Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, and I'm gonna read to you the book. If you haven't read it, good. If you if if you have read it, then that's good. So book one, it says right and wrong as a clue to the meaning of the universe. Um, 1. The law of human nature. Everyone has heard people quarreling. Sometimes it sounds funny. Sometimes it sounds merely unpleasant. Um, Unpleasant. But however it sounds, I believe we can learn something very important from listening to the kind of things they say. They say things like this: how do you like it if anyone did the same to you? That's my seat. I was there first. Leave him alone. He isn't doing you any harm. Why should you love him first? Why should you shove him first? Give me a bit of your orange. I gave you a bit of mine. Shame on you. You promised. People say things like that every day. Educated people as well as uneducated, and children as well as grown-ups. Now, what interests me about all these remarks is that the man who makes them is to not saying that the other man's behavior does not happen to please him. He's appealing to some kind of standard of behavior which he expects the other man to know. And the other man very seldom replies, to hell with your standard. Nearly always he tries to make out what he has been doing, does not really go against the standard, or that if it does, um, there is some special excuse. He pretends there is some special reason in this particular case why the person who took the first should not keep it, or that things were quite different when he was given the bit of orange, or that thing has turned up which lets him off keeping his promise. It looks in fact very much as if both parties had in mind some kind of law or rule of fair play or decent behavior or morality, or wherever you like to call it, about which they really agreed, and they have. If they had not, they might, of course, fight like animals, but they could not quarrel in the human sense of the word. Quarreling means trying to show that the other man is in the wrong, and there would be no sense in trying to do that unless you and he had some sort of agreement to what right and wrong are, just as there would be no sense in saying that a footballer had committed a foul unless there was some arrangement about the rules of football. Now, this law or rule about right and wrong used to be called the law of nature. Nowadays, when we talk of the laws of nature, we usually mean things like gravitation or heredity or the laws of chemistry, but where the older thinkers called the law of right and wrong the law of nature, they really meant the law of human nature. The idea was that just as all bodies are given are governed by the law of motivation in organisms by biological laws. So the creature called man, also his law, with his great difference that a body could not choose whether it obeyed the law of gravitation or not, but a man could choose either to obey the law of human nature or to disobey it. We may put this in another way. Each man at every moment objected to several different sets of law, but there is only one of these which he is free to disobey. As a body, he is subjected to gravitation and cannot disobey it. If you leave him unsupported in midair, he has no more choice about falling than a stone has. As an organism, he is subjected to various biological law, which he cannot disobey any more than an animal can. That is, he cannot disobey those laws which he shares with other things, but the law which is peculiar to this human nature, the law he does not share with animals or vegetables or organic things, is the only one he can disobey if he chooses. This law was called the law of nature because people thought that everyone knew it by nature, and it did not need to be taught it. They did not mean, of course, you might not find an odd individual there and there who did not know it, just as you find a few people who are colorblind or have no ear for a tune. But taking the race as a whole, they thought that the human idea of decent behavior was obvious to everyone, and I believe they are right. They were right. If they were not, then all the things we said about the war were nonsense. That was the sense in saying the enemy were in the wrong unless right is a real thing, which the Nazis were in the wrong unless right is a real thing, which Nazis at the bottom knew as well as we did and ought to have practiced. If they had no notion of what we mean by right, then though we might still have had no fight, we have had to fight them, we could no more have blamed them for that than the color of their hair. I know that some people say the idea of a law of nature or decent behavior known to all men is unsound because different civilizations and different ages have been differences between their moralities, as these have never amounted to anything like a total difference. If anyone will take the trouble to compare the moral teaching of, say, the ancient Egyptians, Babylonians, Hindus, Chinese, Greeks, and Romans, that will really strike him will be how very like they are to each other and to our own. Some of the evidence for this I've put together in the appendix of another book called The Abolition of Men. But for our present purpose, I need only ask the leader to think what a total different morality could mean. Think of a country where people were admired for running